Hi, everyone. It's Mitch here with the Puck Dogs. Of course, pickdogs.com, sportschatplace.com. Of course, the Sports Chat Place, the original free pick site, and Pick Dogs, my latest venture, our latest venture. And, it's just biding time like everybody else, waiting for the first peep of news that we're going to have a resumption, but just not feeling it yet. I had pretty high hopes yesterday. The NBA was going to make some sort of announcement, definitive plan soon. I think they will still make something soon, but I honestly think now we're looking at it's been a week since everything has stopped. Now we're past the week point at this. Saturday will mark that they had the UFC card, and that will be pretty much a week that things have stopped. I think what now we're looking at is that 2-week incubation period for this virus, and to see exactly where we stand. And because the issue that we have in the sports world and the rest of the world is that unfortunately the United States, who is going to dictate how this sports goes, and we know we have a global audience and it's a global economy and a global world. The way things are in the United States is that cases are still increasing. So it's like every 36 hours, the cases are doubling. So the issue isn't what happened in the past week right now. It's what's happened the week before that. So the week before all these stoppages and everything like that, all the planes coming in from China. I mean, this place was mobbed with tourists. We had all sorts of things going on. To think about what your life was like 2 weeks ago and think about what it's like today. So that's really where we're at with everything. So what we're starting to see, and this is not a news station. We're not, doctors. We're nothing like that. We're not even close. Believe me, med school. Believe me, like we've talked about, I barely made it out of high school. Barely. They just wanted to get rid of me. But I think what we have here is that, Justin is saying China has it under control. I don't think China has it under control. I think what they have is, maybe they have it control, in more control than they were. Cases are going down. And I think that's what we need to see here, is when cases start to go the other direction, then we'll see it. And it's kind of like what we're seeing in the stock market, I think, is leading us in that direction. And I think the stock market led us in this direction of the way that we're gone. And it's like, while I'm not, I've worked on Wall Street for a long time, and, we don't talk about a hell of a lot. But the market will lead you the way that things are going to go. The market is rarely wrong. It's been wrong before, and it's certainly wrong on a case-by-case basis a lot more often than you think. But I think that what we're starting to see, at least in the stock market, is that there's confidence that this is going to turn around, and it's starting to turn around. I think we're starting to see solutions, and that's what I've said all along, and I've said it to our guys at Sports Chat and Pick Dogs, and Chris, when he is, the way we're gonna do is I'm gonna speak first, and Chris is gonna say something, Rod's gonna say something, we'll come back to me, and that'll be the whole show. We're not gonna go on for hours, but I'm just trying to. I've never lived in the problem. I've only lived in the solution, and that's the way I've always lived my whole life. Because if I lived in the problem, I'd be still homeless, right? And broke and alcoholic, practicing. I'd be all those things if I was living in the problem. We're only going to live in the solution. I don't allow it at Sports Chat, like in our private chats that we have in our Slack groups and things like that. I don't allow negativity in there either. And I think while the number of cases hasn't hit its high yet, I think that everything else has bottomed. And, I might be wrong. I've been wrong before, right? I took Evansville against Duke. I took Duke against Stephen F. Austin. And I had Kentucky against Evansville this year. So I've been wrong plenty of times. And those, you guys know, that's just a handful of examples of times I've been wrong, but I think I think that we are at a bottom, and we're starting to hear solutions. And I think when we see that China has done things that are working, you know, obviously there wasn't enough prevention, to begin with, and that is the problem, right? Is that we had probably this window to do something about it, and we did nothing. And this is like, we see this in life all the time, where people say, oh, it's like, now I have this solution, now I have this. Well, you had 6 months to think about it, and you did nothing. And, that's why at Sports Chat and at Pick Dogs, we're trying to stay active with the content. We're just really not sure what to write about, so we're just writing something, stuff that we think, might come in handy at some point, whether it be, 6 months from now or 6 years from now. It's content that's going to be there, and stuff that we can have. But outside of that, like I said, I think the market is bottoming. We're starting. It'll be interesting to see where the markets close today. I think we're seeing intraday, highs and things like that. And, this isn't a stock market show, and we're not stock market people. And, I worked on Wall Street many years ago, right? But it's not where it trades intraday, and it's just like a game. It's not what happens over the course of the game. The only thing that matters is the final score. Are people willing to stay long the market over the weekend? I mean, that's really what it is. It's like you see people buying, and because a lot of these stocks are they're oversold. What does why would Zoom be down? What do you think that would be up? Right? I've had like 10 Zoom meetings this week. And I've always had a ton of Zoom meetings, and I'm going to guess more and more businesses are using them than never use them. So why would stocks like that be down? Why would stocks like Procter & Gamble and Walmart be down? When they're selling more toilet paper than ever and more cleaning supplies. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But Chris, you got anything to add here about maybe what's going on in sports, Canada, your refrigerator, anything? You got any? I'm down to my last Reese's peanut butter egg, so if anyone wants to, everyone always says, oh, I want to send you donations or money, whatever. I got one left. I ain't going to make it to Easter.
Send the peanut butter eggs. No, like you said, we're all trying to look for solutions right now. And I think one of the leagues that's offering up an interesting solution is the Big Three. It's a league that's starting to gain more popularity in non-competition with the NBA, but just sort of like a sidebar. And now you see that the Big Three is starting to look into a potential quarantine tournament with a sort of a Big Brother style aspect. I'm not much of a reality TV person, but I would watch this. You got guys that are in the house making sure they've been quarantined for 14 days, making sure they're negative for the coronavirus, and then playing a 4 or 5 team tournament, 16 to 22 guys. And the Big Three had some interesting rules to begin with, like 4-point shot. You had the one free throw worth however many points the shot was being taken. And now they're going to implement a rule where you can challenge a foul, but instead of going to video review, you're going to have a one-on-one between the player that was fouled and the player that committed the foul. If you make the bucket, the foul stands. If they get a stop, the foul's erased. Yeah, it's something that's innovative, and I think it's something that's a viable option given all the uncertainty right now. It'd be interesting to watch, and I think it could gain a lot of focus and a lot of attention.
Yeah. So we have a comment here that Bitcoin is down to 2,000. See, this is the type of stuff that we want to avoid. It's like we're not doctors, we're not market experts, we're not anything. But it's like one thing we don't want to do is spread incorrect information. And so Bitcoin, what I see is at 6,600, 6,618.30. So it's not at 2,000, it's at 6,600, over triple the price of what you say it is. So it's like we don't want to do is spread bad information. But yeah, I think that the Big Three is a solution, and I think it's something that at this point we're willing to go with. But I think part of the issues here that we have in the sports world with alternative sports, right, And, a lot of people are asking, do you want me to cover Australian stuff? Do you want me to do this? And I think I would consider it, but I don't know what the viability of the product's going to be in our business once the major sports return. And I think that, I have to look at the long term. Yeah, do I want short term coverage? Would I like to have, would I like to, does, would I like to have coverage? Would I like to have people, stuff people can bet on? All this? Of course we do. But, is this something, that we're going to maintain over the long haul? Is this something that people are going to be interested over the long haul? I've thought of covering about Aussie rules football for years. It's something that I've had people that said they're going to cover, and then they never do. I've had guys that did this. We used to have, my original NBA writer was a guy named Dan, and he had a friend, and him and his friend. Everyone, once in a while we get people that have friends, right? Writers for the site, guys that have been with us for a long time that have friends, and the friend wants to be on the site, right? I have friends, right? Too. Steve Monahan, right? Wants to be on as well. But, the thing is that there's a commitment level and consistency. And while we're bored to tears here talking about no sports on a day where it would have been one of the best days of sports of the entire year, the second day of the first round of the NCAA tournament, and, we're not going to, 16 games of madness, right, that we wait for all year long. People talk about the greatest days in sports, and when other sites do opinion articles on this thing, this is always the best days, right? Yesterday and today is kind of it, and we can't, even talk about what kind of losses, we're taking because of it, not having that. It's not loss. We're not losing anything. We're just not gaining anything, and that's what we use to kind of cover stuff during that empty period in the summer where it's just baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see the way that things play out, and we might have to do things a little differently, and we might have to change things, but over time we've been fairly prudent. I haven't ever been a distribute and spend all person, where every dime that my websites make, I don't take into my personal bank account and start buying Rolexes and whatever. It's like, I already have that crap. It's like, how many can you have? How many do you want? I don't go out to dinner. I don't do any of those things. It's like, I wouldn't know what to do with it, if I had it. So right now that's going to serve us well over the next few months, and I don't want to change course, but at the same time, it's like if there is an opportunity and there is long-term interest there, yeah, of course we want to cover it. Speaking of covering it, Rod, I know, is dug into some Aussie stuff. He's also dug into some Russian stuff. So I don't know if you wanted to share that with us, or what else he wants to talk about. But one thing we're not going to get is locked in the, I'm so bored, I'm so whatever, because I am, and I admit it. I'm watching. Yesterday I'm watching Amazon Prime Video. Right, this is what I'm watching. I'm watching Mrs. Maisel. I'm into midway through season 2. Okay, this is what I'm watching. This is what I'm doing. I watched that. I watched, my regular programming. I watched Survivor. I watched Top Chef last night. I saw Modern Family, Goldberg's, all my programming, So it is what it is. Yeah, well, the thing is that nobody has a subscription that they paid for in March. So we're going to have to delay the free t-shirt giveaway. To be honest, I don't even think mailing a bunch of shirts around the world is such a great idea right now. I haven't gotten them in yet, but yeah, I think, it will be based on, whenever we have it, something to do with the opening of our new premium area when things resume. and in alignment with spread knowledge. But we will, we have it. The shirts are ordered. I don't know where the hell they are. I think they're walking them over. It takes, for some reason, if you don't send it priority mail, it takes months to get stuff here. I don't know.
Then they send it on a boat.
Yeah.
I think they send it to you on a boat.
Yeah, that would
They're
be
like,
fine.
"Oh,
That would be
boat
fine, but
mail."
it doesn't take a boat a month to get here from California. That's for sure.
Well, if it stops at 5 different places on the way to pick up more boat mail. Then I might.
Yeah, it's like believe me, if you're a subscriber to Spread Knowledge, and if you're or you know you meet the criteria of our premium area, you're gonna get a shirt. And it's like, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be ordering from these same people again either next time. So, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them shipped to somebody else for free shipping, and then have those people send them to me express and pay extra. Anyways, Rod, what you got for us today?
For me, the whole Corona news, it changes day to day, and we can't even give a date. Let's put it that way. We can't. There's no any of these leagues cannot give you a date because they really don't know. We're basically going day by day. What's going to happen today? What's the news today going to be? Who's going to be the new person with the coronavirus today? We can't even make a plan until you really know how this is going to go flying through people. So for me, I've just been trying to keep busy, and horse races is still on, but I don't know how long that's going to be on for because they're canceling racetracks all over the place. So we might not even have that soon. So for me, I've been sure I'll dig into the other sports if I can find some stats and info, and then sure I'll dig into some Aussie soccer, which I did today. I like the Newcastle Jets versus Melbourne City over 3. It's -110. I did put these plays in the group because I can honestly, don't even know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this Belarusian hockey name. It's the HC Shatur Sogolski versus Newman Grodna.
Tell you what, listening to Rod pronounce Russian names is worth the price of admission alone here.
I like the hockey game over 5 goals. It's a -105. And the last one is Belarusian soccer. FC Dynamo Minsk versus looks like I want to say it looks like Wreck Breast, but it's
like you dropped a can of alphabet soup and tried to figure out what
I'm sure it's Rook Breast. RUKBREST. Over 2.5 goals. As I said, I put these 3 plays that I like today in the Facebook group because it's easier to write it out than try to pronounce whatever the heck this name is. I am definitely not Russian. But I really do think we are going to see some sort of sport pack. Someone will do something. But I'm really think it's going to be May, June. I think April's a hold right off.
Well, there you have it. Well, we don't have a ton to talk about here, and like I said, we're not going to sit here and predict the future. I mean, we wait for the games to do that. We have at least some material to work with. Todd Gurley to the Falcons. I don't know if that's such a great fit. I think they get rid of Devonta Freeman, they get Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley he's back in Georgia, where he played college football, and I think he's got some serious soul searching to do. I don't think that he had his best efforts the last season and a half. Whether it's him losing some of his skills or his
not
skills
being at
not
100%.
translating to what his team was doing. That's all part of it. But it's a lot of money for a running back, so tough to and he is sort of a one-trick pony. He's not really like that pass catching back, safety valve pass.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's still not on a team. Chris likes him for the Patriots. I honestly don't see him going there, but that's just me. I've been wrong before, like I said. Tom Brady finally signs with the Bucs. I think Jameis Winston goes to Jacksonville personally, and Tom Brady on the Bucs, not where I had him pegged either, but it was just language in the contract that took this long. That's really what it was. So
Yeah.
well, the Rams, the Rams are offloading, and you have to remember that they unloaded more than anybody to get that team to the Super Bowl. When Jared Goff is your quarterback and he makes that much money, you need to get him as many possible pieces to the puzzle as you can if you expect your team to go anywhere. And that's what they did. They made it to the Super Bowl. They spent huge. And in the last 2 years, they've been offloading. They had Ndamukong Suh was on that Super Bowl team, right? They had a bunch of other guys, too. And, Ndamukong Suh, a lot of people, they don't like, his attitude or whatever. Here's a guy that plays every single game. He's never injured, right? And he also is a disruptor. And it's like we talked about the defensive tackle that takes up space in the middle of the defensive line. Here's the guy that goes to the Patriots, right? This is the guy. If you want to know what's the type of guy that goes to the Patriots and kind of, all of a sudden it's like, wow, how did that happen? That's the type of guy right there. The Rams loaded up 2 years ago. They loaded up all those players to try and get to the Super Bowl. They kind of went all in 2 years ago. They made it to the Super Bowl. And then, they forgot they had a quarterback that can't complete a downfield pass. And that really is what happened to them. So, anyways. That's pretty much it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but hopefully there's some earth-shattering, groundbreaking news. If there is some kind of news like that. If there is some kind
don't worry,
we'll come back on. What's that?
Yeah. I said, and we'll get my attempt at another Russian hockey game.
Yes.
A Belarusian hockey game. Because they're still going. They're starting. They're still playing their playoff.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Looks like since we were talking, stocks have clearly sold off. New York has instituted 100% workforce reduction. I don't know what that means because I can't hear it on TV, but I'm going to guess stay at home like San Francisco is what we're going to hear there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess we're going to see a lot more of that around the country and around the world. And why the market's reacting like it's something they weren't expecting is beyond me. But on the bright note, tax filing day moved back to July. I'll take it. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, guys. Wish we had more good news to tell you. And I think there will be a lot of good news. And I think that we're going to have a lot of upbeat shows. And, I think that, when October, November rolls around, when they're playing Thanksgiving football, this is all going to be, remember what we were doing in when March Madness was around. And even next year, March Madness, we're going to forget that, by 2 or 3 years, we're going to forget that, that this March Madness didn't happen. It's kind of like, it's not like baseball where they canceled the World Series because of a labor stoppage, It's not like that. It's this is something that's affecting the world. And it's like more than anything, people are chomping at the bit to get back into it. It's not like screw these guys like it was for baseball. And how we still feel about baseball, most of us. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks, guys. I know these are not the easy, fun shows, but we do the best we can. We're just trying to keep it going. You know, it's like I know other people say, "Oh, this is a good time to do nothing." Not in my nature, man. You got to, you know, I'm the guy that, you know, I'm the guy that was, you know, had a guaranteed paycheck in my pocket to do nothing, and I lasted 2 weeks. Anyways, Mitch, thanks for joining me, guys. Always a pleasure. I don't know, man. We'll have to, maybe we'll start doing song and dance routines tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Canucks dance.
Yeah, we'll do a little dance. I'm doing the.
Give me a C. What's that stand for? Canucks. I can't hear you. Canucks. One more time. See you later.